the dam on the Wolf River. It helped with the plan to eliminate the Menominee culture. And then eventually the culture dies, everybody assimilates if they're still alive, and everything goes good for the dominant culture. They can take over the land, get the timber. Yeah, they didn't consider the sturgeon important at all.
We welcome you to the land of the Menominee, all of our singers, our dancers, and our veterans. We're going to go right on over to our host drum, the Wolf River Singers. Whenever you're ready, boys, let's bring them in. Hoka!
I'd like to say a few words about this celebration we're having. It's the 20th anniversary of the Menominee Sturgeon Feast and Celebration Powwow, and a little history of how this came about. What happened was in 1992 and 93, some of the tribal members got together and said, well, we haven't had these fish for over 100 years. We want to get them back so we can have our feast and ceremonies. Some were willing to go off and get arrested off reservation at Shauno Dam to spear them and get them back. The Menominees look at it as, you know, it's part of us. It's hard to explain that. Culturally and spiritually, we're connected because of the oral histories from the creation down to today. And we believe that the sturgeon was given to us by the Creator for a reason.
The sturgeon spearing season is underway. Thousands of people are expected out on the ice today, but the DNR is warning of potentially dangerous ice conditions this morning.
Hey, how are you? Morning. You brought Pa along. This I built when Lombardi was in Green Bay, the shanty, 1965, 6, 7, in that time. It was a concern, absolute concern, that something goes wrong. We don't know how, and we were told we had the last crop of sturgeon here in this system, right here, you know. We had the last lake sturgeon around. They had already been sort of cleaned out of the Great Lakes because they couldn't spawn. They couldn't get up to Lake Winnebago anymore. They couldn't come up the Fox River from the Bay of Green Bay, Sturgeon Bay, to Winnebago because of all the locks and dams. I mean, you gotta imagine, I'm 80 years old, and I started fishing when I was 8. That we just definitely had to learn to raise these sturgeon, I would hope that we could learn to do it so that we'd have a self-sustaining crop. Eventually, I hope that we could restock the Great Lakes. I hope I live long enough to see where we can try that.
The Menominee have roughly 230,000 acres of a reservation. It's 98% forest. It's a magnificent forest, and it's on a basis where it perpetuates itself by select cutting and so forth. And they moved on to that reservation in the 1850s. And prior to that, they owned, possessed, and utilized land from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan down near Milwaukee, all the way over to Chippewa Falls, and in the central part of the state, including the land we are now on. It used to be Menominees, and it went over to the United States in the Treaty of 1836. Menominees, through very peaceful means, ceded 15 million acres to the United States without battles, without war, in a genuine way. And as that land went over, then the Americans then could utilize it without great controversies. And as that land went over, the Menominees retained 230,000 acres of land where they presently are.
One of the reasons why the Menominee people wanted to stay in Wisconsin, they wanted to move us in 1848, and our chief, Oshkosh, and the other chief said, no, we don't want to move over there. We want to stay in Wisconsin. And one of the areas that nobody wanted to live in was this reservation land. And our chief said, no, we moved my people there. We lived there for centuries. So one of the reasons why our chiefs wanted to be here was the Wolf River and spring migration of sturgeon every year became important to us. And every year, again, we'd wait for the migration of sturgeon and have a ceremony and celebration like we did when the first sturgeon was caught at creation.
Sturgeon are very culturally important to the Menominee Indian tribe. You know, it kind of took away a little bit of their culture when this dam was built and fish could no longer go up onto the Menominee Indian reservation to spawn. And through the work that we're doing with them now to try to reestablish spawning sturgeon on the Menominee Indian reservation, we've developed a bond, and we're working towards the same goal. And it's brought people, I think it's brought some of the tribal members back more to their cultural roots.
Nahayam na the moment. Pitamuke him, Mamo Nich Match Talk. Got Cochemana, him, Mamo Kona no Massamassan Hawk. Rapamato him say, yeah, him, Mao Shope.
Let's give our cooks and all the hands, the waitresses and everybody, the bartenders, everybody, big round of applause. And as normal, backed by Mr. Popular Demand, well, define normal, that's true.
Ron Brook is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He's with the DNR. We all love the DNR, don't we? Look at that rousing round of applause for you.
This is our 34th year banquet. So it's a fundraising thing we do. We just try to raise money to help the DNR do studies on the early life of the sturgeon. I've been doing this for 34 years. I've been here every year. So, and being the end of January, we can usually run into a snowstorm, but only 1 year in the 34 years did we have to cancel on a Saturday, and we had it on a Sunday. So it's turned out to be a really good party, you know.
It's been a pleasure the whole time to come and do this, and I really, really much enjoy it. The big project that we're working on right now with Sturgeon for Tomorrow that we've been working on since 2002 is the rehabilitation of the spawning stock in the Upper Fox River. And we've been stocking fish up there since 2002. And now we're putting a 500 fish a year in up there. And we're about to see some of those fish. Any year now we'll be able to see some of those fish coming into the harvest. And it's not only important for restoring that spawning stock in the Upper Fox River, but eventually when these fish start recruiting into the harvest, we're actually going to be able to get some kind of a measure of what the natural recruitment rate is on the system. So we get more out of it than just replenishing that stock for the Upper Fox. So it's really very good information for us. What we've been able to estimate at this point, for every female spawner that goes up in the spring of the year and spawns, because they don't spawn every year, of course, for every female spawner, she lays on the average about 400,000 eggs. And out of those 400,000 eggs, at the end of one growing season, by that fall, she will have produced 12 fish. So that's what we're facing, and that's basically what Mother Nature has set up for this species to be successful. And we are extremely successful on the system, having the largest population of this species anywhere in the world.
In this area, sturgeon are culturally significant to a lot of different groups of people, both spokesmen as well as native tribes, sportsmen. There's a lot of people that just aren't even sportsmen. They don't hunt, they don't fish, but they come out to see the fish spawn because it's unlike anything you're going to see anywhere else in the world, and it's truly unique to this area. And then you come down onto the Lake Winnebago system and you take part in the spear harvest, and you realize just how valuable and how culturally important. From a different standpoint, it's a completely different cultural experience, but in terms of the people that are your diehard spearers, even your people that go out for opening weekend, it's something that's extremely culturally important to them too.
There's a place in all our hearts where the fun always starts. You'll find it in the great state of Wisconsin. From Stockbridge to High Cliff, you can always get a whiff of our good old-fashioned dairy air.
We have a short season, 12:30. Years ago it was daylight till dark, but you never know when they're going to come. It only takes 1 second, when they're there, and it's awesome. It's a great sport. Hopefully the fish stay the way they are. We have a lot of fish, and it's going to be a sport for a long time.
Lake Winnebago, Lake Winnebago. In the morning, smooth as glass. Afternoon, she'll knock you on your Lake Winnebago, not Pink Flamingo. That's where we like to be.
Eventually, I hope that we could restock the Great Lakes. It's been here for millions and millions of years. It's survived whatever killed the dinosaurs. They were here. They made it. It's an important part of nature. It's an important part of everything. I mean, how can you say that we can live without one species?